Good morning, student. So today I will discuss about the continuation of the immune system. In the earlier video, I have discussed about the innate immune response system, in which we have a study about the physical barrier, chemical barrier, and cell. So this physical barriers is comes from the uh, by the skin and mucous membrane. Clear? So in skin and mucous membrane, there are lots of enzymes present which are ability to prevent the pathogen from entering into the body. Clear? So such kind of enzymes like lysozymes or sweating, acidity of sweating, and other sebaceous gland which are producing the oils in which fatty acids. These are important for preventing the pathogens. Next, chemical barriers. In our body we have a lots of chemicals, and these chemicals are very strict nature to prevent the any kind of foreign particle foreign substances which are trying to enter in our body. So these chemical barriers uh, these chemicals act as a barrier to prevent the any pathogens or foreign substances. These chemicals includes like chemokines, cytokines, and pattern recognition proteins. Uh, so these are the important proteins which are produced, synthesized by the liver and other kinds of cells. Next, an immune response is due to these cells. So these innate immune responses is also done by the specialized cell. Now, these specialized cells is able to prevent and destroy the cells, foreign substances and pathogens which are specific and non-specific in our to the host body. So if any foreign substances which are not specific for our body, these specialized cells get active and searching and destroying the pathogens which are harmful to the uh, cells of a host. These cells includes the hemopoietic cells. These hemopoietic stem cells get divided mitotically and converted into the myeloid progenitor cells and lymphoid progenitor cells. These myeloid progenitor cells are those cells which are continuously divided through the mitotic division and produces these granulomatous cells like macrophages, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, RBCs, and platelets. These are the important cells which are actually able to actually have ability to search, identify, and destroy the pathogens which are invading inside our body. These cells act upon the bacterial pathogens, virus pathogens, helminthes, nematodes, and other kinds of worms. So these such as जैसे eosinophils act upon the helminths, worms, these kind of foreign pathogens which are invading inside the body. These eosinophil cells get active and produce a lot of eosinophils, and these eosinophils releasing the histamines and other kinds of inflammatory proteins which are killing these helminths, nematodes, and other kinds of worm. Clear? So this is very important cells to killing the helminthes, nematodes, and other worms. Next, the neutrophils and macrophages, which they are the continuously recognize the bacterial as well as viral pathogen and killing these without harming the normal host cells. So these are the very important, and they have the nucleus inside their cytoplasm, and this nucleus is responsible for making different kinds of proteins and different kinds of inflammatory proteins which are able to killing the pathogens. Next, lymphoid progenitor cells. These lymphoid progenitor cells are also dividing and differentiating a lots of through the mitotic division, and it includes the dendritic cells, lymphocytes, and natural killer cells. Dendritic cells and natural killer cells are specialized cells which are actually act upon the viral pathogens. These are very important. Clear? And actually natural killer cells have a very less concentration in our body, but it is very effective cells to killing the virus which are invading inside the cells, and these natural killer cells destroy the pathogen without harming to the our cells. Clear? But lymphocytes is also important cells which are divided and differentiated into the B lymphocells, B lymphocyte, and T lymphocytes. Actually, these B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes act upon the innate as well as acquired immune responses. Clear? So these B cells actually act first during the first line of defense mechanism. Clear? But T cells also especially work on the acquired immunity, but it also participate in the innate immunity whenever this T cells going to promote B cells to produce a lot of antibodies, and these circulating these antibodies into the blood, and travel at the site where the pathogens invade and killing the pathogens. So these are the cooperative cells to both each other. Clear? So let's talk about these lymphoid progenitor cells in details. So lymphocytes are the mononuclear leukocytes, means it has a single nucleus inside the cytoplasm which are continuously divide and differentiating into the B cells and T cells. And these lymphocytes found in WBCs, and beside these it is also found in blood, lymphoid organs like thymus, spleen, and lymph nodes. And there we have already I already told that it is the three types: T lymphocyte, B lymphocyte, and natural killer cells. B lymphocytes are these lymphocytes. Actually, these are synthesized in the bone marrow. Clear? So B lymphocytes manufacture and matured in the bone marrow. From whenever it matured, they circulating in the blood and producing the immunoglobulins which are also known as the antibodies. These it is very effective during the humoral responses. Clear. B cells active take part in a humoral responses, and it produces beside the antibodies, it produces the cytokines. So antibodies and cytokines both are synthesized from the B lymphocytes, whereas T lymphocyte is manufactured in the bone marrow, but it is not matured in the bone marrow. It is matured and differentiating into the thymus, which are present in our neck portion. Clear. This thymus is very important organs which involving the maturation of T lymphocytes, and they did not produce any kind of immunoglobulins, but cytokines are synthesized by the T lymphocytes. These T lymphocytes, actually there are several kinds: helper T cells, cytotoxic T cells, suppressor T cells, and memory T cells. So whenever pathogens entering in the body, T lymphocyte like helper T cells get active and killing those and trying to killing the pathogens, and also it it con- it uh, in it will enhance, it motivate the B cells to produce immunoglobulins and kill the pathogens, whereas cytotoxic T cells is where it is the effector cells. That means it is directly kill the pathogens wherever the pathogens present in the cells. Clear. That's why cytotoxic T cells is known as the effector cells, and it is producing the granzymes, proteins which are able to killing the cells which containing the viruses. Actually, cytotoxic T cells act upon the viral pathogen which are invading in our cells. Suppressor T cells are those specialized T cells which are actually help to suppress the immune responses when the pathogen destroyed. Clear. So if pathogen if the activity of T helper cells and cytotoxic T cells are not suppressed, these are going to initiate the autoimmune diseases. That's why suppressor T cells trying to suppress the activity, the response of the T helper cells and cytotoxic T cells. Clear. So it is very important cells. And last cells, that is the memory T cells. Memory T cells, whenever the activity of the helper T cells as well as the cytotoxic T cells get suppressed by the suppressor T cells, and it converted into the memory T cells for upcoming the same kind of pathogens. So whenever same kind of pathogens again re-enter into the body cells, these memory T cells recognize fastly and killing those pathogens which are pre-exposed to our body. Clear. So these are the important T cells. So B lymphocyte is also a memory B cells. Clear. So because it also so it is producing the antibodies. It is not having any kind of memory cells. So let's talk about the antibodies or immunoglobulins. sorry this, let's talk about the adaptive or acquired immune system, which part of the body is will involve during the adaptive or acquired immune responses. Whenever any specialized any specific antigen or pathogen re-enters into the body, how our body get identify that particular exposed pathogens, and how they identify the cells and non-self cell. Clear. So during the acquired immune responses, there are two major organs are involved, which are producing the producing the cells which are going to killing the pathogens. So there are two organs such as primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs are those lymphoid organs which are active, which are act primarily whenever pathogens enter in our body. Clear. Whenever re-exposed pathogens enter in our body, this primary lymphoid organs includes the bone marrow, which is the manufacturing and storehouse of the lymphocyte cells, and thymus, which are the site of the T lymphocytes. So bone marrow producing the B cells as well as T cells. Clear. So whenever cells which are released from the bone marrow and travel into the thymus, they differentiate into the T cells. So bone marrow uh, producing the red blood cells, B cells, T cells, and other kinds of cells. And these B cells are further differentiate and synthesizing the immunoglobulins to cope up to killing the pathogens. Thymus is the structure the structure of the thymus is like that. It is the it like that. Clear. So this is the structure of thymus, and bone marrow is the this is the structure of the bone marrow. Clear. So these are the primary lymphoid organs. Secondary lymphoid organs which are participating for, after the producing the B cells and T cells, and which are traveling into the different organs such as spleen, malt, and lymph nodes. So spleen, malt, and lymph nodes are the secondary organs. Spleens is very important lymphoid organs. It is the largest lymphoid organs, and it is very efficient in trapping and killing the foreign pathogens. These are present in the blood, and these organs producing the antibodies. Clear. It is also producing the antibodies, whereas lymph node are the specialized blood fluid, and it is very small encapsulated bean shaped structure. Clear. And it is found in various regions. These are the these are packed with lymphocyte, macrophage, and dendritic cells, which are actually actively participate in killing the pathogens. Clear. And malt is very specialized cells. It is a abbreviation form. Its full form is the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Mucosa, that means mucous membrane. It is these kind of cells or organs found in respiratory tract, digestive tract, and urinary tract. These malt cells are includes galt as well as BALT. Galt is the stand for the uh, gut associated lymphoid tissue, and BALT stand for the bronchial associated lymphoid tissue. Galt will act upon the digestive tract. Digestive it is present in the lining of digestive tract, and BALT is present in the lining of bronchial and respiratory tract. So it is also responsible for killing the pathogen whenever pathogen enters through the inhalation and through the ingestion. So whenever any pathogens trying to enter into the in our body through the ingestion and inhalation, these galt and BALT cells get active and releasing the various kind of chemicals to killing the pathogens. So these are the important kinds of secondary organs. These galt cells are present in the tonsils, Pierce patches, and Pierce patches is the smallest part present in the intestine of the stomach. Clear? So these are the adaptive immune responses which are done by the primary lymphoid organ and secondary lymphoid organs. Now we are very near to finish our chapter, that is human health and diseases. In this chapter, further including the immunoglobulins. So let's talk about the immunoglobulins, which are very important topics for any kinds of exam perspective. What is immunoglobulins? Immunoglobulins is commonly known as the antibodies. So first, it is a very specialized proteins, and it is actually its synthesis start from the primary lymphoid organs, which include the bone marrow, and this bone marrow producing the lymphocytes, T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte, but especially in this topic I will discuss only the B lymphocyte. So B lymphocyte continuously differentiating, dividing and differentiating through the mitotic division and producing the B cells. These B cells are producing and producing itself to synthesize the immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins or antibodies circulated in the blood and searching the pathogens which are invading in the body cells, and they whenever the pathogen present in the fluid interstitial part of the body, these antibodies get active and killing the pathogens, and it is act as it is killing the pathogen through the phagocytosis mechanism. Phagocytosis is the mechanism, it is the process in which antibodies and cytokinins attached capture the pathogens and engulf and it is engulfed by the macrophage, neutrophils or dendritic cells, that is known as the phagocytosis. So engulfing the pathogens by the macrophage and dendritic and other kinds of cells is called phagocytosis. So these B cells producing the immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins are the glycoproteins secreted by, it is also secreted by the plasma cells of the blood. There are 5 types of the immunoglobulins: immunoglobulins G or antibodies G, immunoglobulins A, immunoglobulins B, M, immunoglobulins E and D. It is very easy to memorize that gamed. Gamed is the order of the antibodies or immunoglobulins. You can follow and memorize these immunoglobulins. Clear? Now, structure of the antibodies. Actually, the antibodies look like the Y-shaped. Clear? And it is composed with two heavy chains and two light chains. So this blue color one is the heavy chain, two heavy chains, and these light color is showing the light chain. Clear? These heavy chains and light chains, these heavy and light chain are connected by the sulfur bond. Clear? Here the amino acid to joined these heavy chains and light chains together. So this they are between the sulfur bond, and two heavy chains are also held by this sulfur bond, which is a cysteine amino acid, and here is a hinge region. Clear? So this is the structure. There are two regions of the antibodies. You can see this structure. This region is called variable region, from where the pathogens are stuck in this portion. Clear? If any kind of pathogens entering in the body and come contact to the antibodies captured these pathogens. So you can see this is the pathogens, and this pathogen are trapped by the variable region of antibodies. Clear? So these are the variable region is the site for trapping the pathogens. नेक्स्ट जो ये रीज़न है लोअर पोर्शन, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड कॉम्प्लीमेंट रीज़न, बिकॉज दिस कॉम्प्लीमेंट इज बिकॉज इट इज़ द एरिया वेयर द complement proteins will present. Clear? These complement proteins is very important to destroy the pathogens. So these are the two reasons: variable reasons and complement reason. These are the important role separately during the immune responses. So this is the structure of the antibodies. All five kinds of structures are more or less similar to each other. Clear? So this is the structure of the antibodies. Now let's talk about the special features of these five kinds of antibodies. First, that is one more thing is that the heavy chains of the antibodies are called antibodies. Immunoglobulins M has a heavy chain that is called mu chain. D immunoglobulins have a heavy chain that is called delta, and G immunoglobulins have a heavy chain that is represented as the gamma. A antibodies have the heavy chain, it is called alpha, and E it is represent the epsilon. Clear? So there are the five kinds of the heavy chains, whereas the light chain is also present. There are two kinds of light chain. It is denoted as the kappa and lambda. So only two light chain are present in the antibody structure. Let's talk about the features of the antibodies. Immunoglobulin genes, immunoglobulin G or antibody G, it is abundant in the serum and in the blood. Clear? Other than other antibodies, and it have a highest or longest life span. Clear? But these antibodies have the 23 days. Its half life is 23 days. Clear? And it is passed through the placenta to the baby from the mother. Clear? So if a question is put out like that, which kind of immunoglobulins pass through the placenta of from the mother to the baby, that your answer should be the immunoglobulins G. Clear? Or antibody G. Next is immunoglobulin A, or antibody A. It is less abundance in serum as compared to G, but greater than other antibodies, and it is predominantly found in the breast milk, saliva, tears, and mucus. Clear? Mucus containing a lots of immunoglobulins A, and its half life is only 5 days. There are two subclasses of the immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin A1 and A2, and there are five types subtype of the immunoglobulin G, that is G1, G2, G3, and G4 and G5. Clear? And it is immunoglobulins found in a dimer form. It found in a dimer form whenever pathogens enter into the through the respiration, and this mucous membrane trap the pathogen, because in the mucous membrane antibodies A are present. These antibodies A form a specialized structure dimer. सो डाइमर मीन्स क्या होते हैं, दो एंटीबॉडीज़ ए एक दूसरे से ज्वाइंट हो जाते हैं. क्लियर? और इस तरीके से एक दूसरे से ये ज्वाइंट हो गए हैं. यहाँ पर एक रीज़न होगा जो कि इन दो ए एंटीबॉडीज़ को ज्वाइन करेगा, तो इसको हम कहेंगे डाइमर फॉर्म. क्लियर? So it is also present in the colostrum. Colostrum is the breast milk of the mother whenever newborn baby feed on the mother's breast, and colostrum secreted or transfer from the to the baby, infant baby. Next जो होंगे, that is the immunoglobulins M, G, Me and D, which is also present in the blood and blood serum and plasma, and but their concentration is very low as compared to immunoglobulins G and immunoglobulins A. Clear? So these are the very important immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins E is very important. It is very important during the inflammatory responses, and it is responsible for the allergic reaction. Whenever any pathogens enter into the body, these immunoglobulins E active, and it provides some inflammation to the host cells for the killing the pathogens. So it is very important. Next is the immunoglobulins M, which is the active complement form, and it is act as a receptors. M and D act as a receptors. Clear? So it is very important immunoglobulins. So these are the important immune responses which are defense against the pathogens during and help to boost our immune system due to the activating the producing the antibodies, lymphocytes, and so on. So that's all for today.